Hi, this is Jen from Jen Diggy Junction, and November was not a fantastic month, but I still had a few good sales, and I'm going to show you what sold. First up is these two ornaments from 1975 with the Flintstones. I was actually kind of surprised that I got as much as I did for these. Like they're really cute. Um, but there were some that, I mean, you can see there's some imperfections here. And there were some others that there was more in the set for about the same price, but I sold these for $19.99, and they came in a box or a grab bag of Christmas ornaments that I got at a thrift shop after Christmas one year. Something that has surprised me that sells is Christmas cards. This it was a lot of 8. Now I only got $9 for them, but $9 for 8 Christmas cards. Um, this Carol Hagen, she evidently is like an artist that people like her stuff. And I think I paid 50 cents for these at a thrift shop after Christmas. I sold more Christmas cross stitch than I had expected in November. Usually, Christmas cross stitch sells best in January and July. This takes a long time to do. You can see each of these is a 2 stitches really, one way and one another. So, but this sold for $15, this magazine. One of the things that I have found with magazines is to highlight a certain pattern out of it because, there may be people who are looking for something similar to that pattern. And if you just to put in, like, I think this one was cross stitch and country crafts, if you just put in like, you know, probably June 1988 or whatever, cross stitch and country crafts, whatever. I don't know what it was. But you won't have the people finding the pattern that they're looking for. And this sold right away at $16. And I would have paid a quarter for lots and lots of craft stuff for Christmas sold this year. I'm not surprised. I think that the pandemic got people interested in crafts more. This was a fabric panel, and it would make either 2 stockings or 4 stockings, depending on how you use the fabric. If you used a backing fabric, it would make 4 stockings. If you just used, the front and the back each, it would make 2 stockings. And I paid $1.50 for a huge batch of this after Christmas one year at a thrift shop, and I got $12 each for these. So this sold for um, $24, and I still have more that I need to get on eBay. Not a big seller, but this sold for $8. I paid $1.20 for some stockings at Target after Christmas one year. So not a huge profit, but it sold. And it took forever too. So this is not something I would recommend you getting, but it is something that I saw. These have been a good seller for me the last few years. This is a Pittsburgh Steelers Santa Claus coming out of a chimney. It's just a little thing that, like, you can put on your shelf. It's officially licensed by the NFL, all that. I bought some of these. I think they were $5 each at Kroger one year. And when I first started selling them, I was selling them for 35 each. And, this one I got 24. Um, but I've had these for years, and I'm glad to finally have the last one sold. This is a vintage tree topper. It sold for $16. These are called reflector lights. And one thing that I always do is have a picture like taken in the dark with this lit up so that you can see that it does work. I included, pictures of the extra things, the box, I'm sure somebody loved this. This is something that, it's probably from like well, it says 1982 on it, but this is a 1970s, 1980s tree topper, and I think it's cool, but that's also my era. And I think I paid 50 cents for this after Christmas at a thrift shop, and generally, when I get stuff at a thrift shop after Christmas, I put it all together, and I try to list it maybe around June or July, and so it's there whenever people start thinking about Christmas. This was a New Kensington High School history book. I believe the school closed in the year 2000 after 100 years, or it was their 100th year reunion or something. I picked this up at a thrift store in a free box of all things. I've had it on for quite some time, I think maybe about 4 or 5 years, and I think it sold at $40. I'm not real certain on that. I've had it up. I've had some people buy it and not pay for it, but finally somebody bought it who paid for it, and I am certainly happy from finding this in a free box. This item got me a negative, one of my first negative in over 10 years. Thankfully, eBay removed it. The person said that because I had 6 pictures, they thought they were getting 6 ornaments. Um, but I bought a box of Steelers candy cane ornaments, actually full price at Walmart, and I think it was like $6. And this was a few years ago, so you can't buy these in Walmart anymore, I don't think. But football teams are often very regional. So I parted these out and sold by the piece. And, there were people who were very, very happy to pay $7 per ornament. And I was certainly happy to get $7 per ornament. This was a cross stitch pattern, and I make it very clear that, pattern only. It had 3 different cross stitch designs in it of Christmas stamps, U.S. postage stamps over the years. This was the 1973 Christmas stamp. It was actually done in needlepoint and photographed for the Christmas stamp in 1973. I would like to make one of these myself to display at Christmas time at some point, but you know, I don't have the time right now. But you can see, the 3 different stamps. Now, generally, postage stamp cross stitch does not sell real well, but I had bought a huge lot of cross stitch stuff off of Craigslist at one point in time, and I love cross stitch myself. And I paid 65 for the whole thing, and this sold at 25. But I say as I say I paid 65 for everything. I sold a pattern out of that lot right after I bought it about 3 years ago for $60. So I immediately got my money back, and this is just, extra. This has got to be the absolute weirdest Christmas ornament or whatever it is that I have ever sold. It's a Santa that's made like an egg, but it has feet. I have no idea like anything about this. I just put it on at $10 and it's sold. It's unique, weird. And I got this in a bag of Christmas decorations. A lot of times you'll go into a thrift shop and there'll be a bag of, they'll have like a bag of assorted Christmas decorations in a gallon Ziploc bag for like $1. And that's how I found this oddity. One of the things when I go to a Goodwill outlet is I will grab just a random bag. My husband will have the cart. I will have a bag. So I have, my hands free. Well, I found this at a Goodwill outlet, and I grab a bag and I put stuff in it to kind of so that I don't have to carry stuff around. And I knew that this would sell. I listed it for $29.99. I took a best offer for $20, and any shopping bag from Harrods sells. Um, if you don't know, Harrods is a high-end department store, very high-end in London, and their bags are collectible. People really want their bags, and so I would have paid probably 25 cents, if that, for this bag and sold it for $20. This is a Mary Queen of Scots cross stitch pattern. It is huge, huge. Um, from top to bottom, it is almost 400 stitches. Now, when I stitch, I use a 14 count usually. So think how huge that is when there's 300 stitches, up and down. This is a big, big pattern and a big project. And I sold this for $25. It sold within a week of me listing it. It was, again, from the cross stitch lot that I bought several years ago on Craigslist. It's been sitting in the storage unit, just waiting for me to have time to list some of the stuff. And it sold right away. And this was, 25 was comparable to what others were selling for. And the buyer was happy, and so was I. Christmas stockings in cross stitch. That is something definitely to keep an eye out for. This was actually in a magazine. It was like in the back of a magazine. And, if you sell the magazines, this was a Stony Creek magazine. If I would have said, Stony Creek 1994, whatever month or whatever it was, I would not have gotten nearly the amount I got for it because I highlighted the fact that it was a stocking and that it had a kittens on it. And, somebody there are people out there who like to make a new stocking for each person in their family. So if somebody gets married, they're going to want to make a new stocking for Christmas for their, grandson's new wife. If there's a baby, they're going to want to make a new stocking. So stockings really, really are something to look for when it comes to cross stitch. And this was just the pattern. There was no thread, nothing. And I got $21.24 for it. This was something very interesting. I'm not even quite exactly sure what it is entirely. There were 21 book and CDs, relaxation with like different themes, like a desert theme and stones and whatever. I found this set at a Goodwill outlet. So the most I would have paid for it is $5 because if you're not familiar with Goodwill outlets, if you buy one item, unless it's something big, um, but if it's something that's in the bins, you're not going to be paying more than $5 no matter how much it weighs. In theory, I have had people charge me more. Um, but yeah, so this was $5. It sold for 70, which is, fantastic. Um, and I'm not even really 100% sure what this is, but I guess the buyer knew. This is the last item from November I'm going to show you. This is a 12 Days of Christmas. Parts of it were broken. I'm not even sure all of it was here. Um, no, that's not letting me. Yeah, here we go. Some of these snowflakes were broken. Um, but if you find anything like this with like these sequins and felt, um, generally in the 1970s they were made by Busilla, but this is a Leeward's 12 Days of Christmas. I mean, you can see right there that's the drummer boy. I'm not even sure what some of these that would be the partridge in a pear tree. Um, but these are highly collectible, both unmade and once they're made. And this sold within a week of me listing it. It was for my grandmother's estate. And I think it is something that I did buy from the auction from her estate. And this sold almost immediately, within a week of me listing it for $60. So that was very good. I'm very happy with the price of that. And, November was a slow month, but I still had a few decent sales, which was not enough considering that my husband hasn't been to work since March. But, we're getting there, and December was fantastic. So, for whatever reason, November was slow for everybody. So anyway, be sure to like, and if you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm going to try to do a lot more YouTube videos this year and you don't want to miss anything.